Hello, we are Beehive Quilt Shop. I'm Anna Rose White.
I'm Connie Hart.
And she's my mom. We're a mother-daughter quilt shop toy store that's in Wellington, Kansas, which is just north of Oklahoma and south of Wichita. And we are a quilt shop toy store. We're one of the only ones in the country. But we also specialize in carrying children's books because we are a toy store. And we've always enjoyed reading and all of those good things. But one of our very favorite elements is having books that have quilts in them. And so we love making custom fabric kits at our shop. And so the book that we are most inspired by right now is this book called Beneath. It's a hardback children's illustrated book by Cori Doerrfeld. And it's just a lovely story. And so, Mom, can you tell us a little bit of why you like this book?
Sure, I love this story. I'm a grandma, and it features a grandpa and a grandson. And the little boy is feeling a little, I don't know if he's sad, but he's hiding. He's beneath the quilt. And Grandpa comes in to comfort him, and they go for a walk. He encourages him to get out. So it's about being outdoors. It's about love. It's about caring, understanding.
Yeah.
It's really good. And it, I don't know, we think that it's important to have time outside for everyone, whether or not you live in a city or in the country. It's just helpful for everyone dealing with life and feelings to have more time outside. So it's just really neat knowing that there's more than just the surface of a person. There's more beneath within our own selves as far as feelings, connecting with other people. There's things that we don't even know exist or that are beneath the soil. And anyway, it's just cool how it talks about people, the earth, animals, insects. It's just cool.
It's cool. It's a great book about humanity and feelings and love. But what's really sweet is this little boy throughout the thing is he's wrapped in a quilt that his grandma made him. And we know this because there is a quilt label on one of the inside parts of the quilt on the very back. So it's got a story on there. And so to Finn, love, heart, grandma. And so it's a really sweet that it has this in there. But there's kind of there's two parts of this that's kind of this quilt. But throughout the quilt on the front cover, this is a square and a square quilt that has cornerstones and sashing. And so the block that's there, Mom will give you a close-up, is a square and a square. And so that's one of the essential elements in a lot of quilt making is a square and a square block. And it's something that is a basic piece, but it's also a block that can be a little challenging if you don't have some of the best ways to do it. And so we experimented with a couple different techniques and wanted to let you know about it. But we made a custom fabric kit for this book that's based off of the whimsical prints that are in here on the front cover. And so it has strawberries, foxes, stars, happy trees, fish. It's just a really sweet patchwork combination of different patterns. And so we have that kit made up to make it. And then we're also going to be making one that's a solid print. But we thought about the size of this block, how many are there, how many blocks would be in this quilt that's wrapped around this boy, how old might he be, all these different things. And so we wrote up a little pattern that goes along with this book to make a quilt that's a square and a square quilt about this size, which ends up being about a twin size quilt. And our preferred technique for how to make this is these paper packs from It's So Emma Patterns. So what these are they're pre-printed papers. It's on a special type of paper that's thinner than normal copy paper. And so it's a foundation paper piece technique, which some people call FPP, which can be a little intimidating, but it's actually very easy and it's very accurate. And it does make this block easy to do. So we're gonna go through a tutorial of how to make this block.
Because I made my first block using these papers just the other night, and it was helpful. I watched a video out there, so we thought it would be cool to make our own video so that you could be successful in making this quilt right away.
Yeah, so whether you are getting the Beneath book and you're gonna make this out of your own stash of whimsical fabrics, or whether or not you end up buying our fabric kit with these prints, this is just a helpful tutorial of the things to think about. So,
and should we just show them at least a few of our blocks to begin with?
Yes, so this is my favorite.
This one's just so cute. It's got happy trees and the fun fish. This one has stars and
it's got cacti.
Clouds.
It does have stars on the cactus.
Yes. And then fun sloths and some pineapple, and who doesn't love gingham
I
fabrics?
know. Sloss and pineapples go together. I don't know if you know this.
And there's fun strawberries with hearts.
We've got the bear with kites. We have some sweet little word prints with pineapples. This fun Alice in Wonderland fabric with some stripes and geometry. We've got the books with some more geometry.
Here's another bear with hearts. So cute. I just love making that one.
Yeah.
Here's one with little paw prints and kites. So they're just fun, whimsical fabrics.
Oh, let's definitely show them the fish piece.
Oh, this one's really cool. I love the pastel stripes along with the fish. That's out of some of my favorite old fabric called Old Guys Rule and What Grandpa Doesn't Rule.
So it's just really neat, and one that we'll square up later on. It's got frogs and strawberries on there. So these are all just really fun, whimsical prints. But some tips of how to do foundation paper piecing is that you want to have these foundation papers. If you're going to make the quilt that's our size, you're going to want 3 packs of these. They're about $11 a piece. And so that's how much these paper pads cost. There's 42 papers that are inside each one of these. And so our quilt, you want to make at least about 90 different blocks.
That's what we came up with 90 with sashing.
So we also went with a 6.5 inch, 6-inch finished size is the one we're working with today. So we're going to list off some of the supplies that you need to make this in general. So you need the papers.
Right. And a little more than 2 packs, so 3 would be ideal. This is a glue stick, and this is safe to use with fabric and makes this process of using the papers
and it's
just magical.
It's a sew-line glue pin.
Yes, sew line. This is Prairie Point. It's a very thin piece of metal, and this is mainly helpful in folding your papers, which at the end you'll find out why we do that. And then this add a quarter plus ruler. I had the 6-inch version, but I thought the 12-inch was easier to work with.
And it's pink. More pink is always better.
Yes, and I did like it because it was pink. But the add a quarter plus has a nice little, what do you call that?
Tapered edge.
Tapered edge, yes. And then my favorite rotary cutter is Quilter Select. Then I used this when I pressed my block. So each time...
We'll show them at the end.
Yeah, we'll show you how you use that along with this. But this is
and that's a pure bonus.
Bonus. Yes. This is helpful for any time you're pressing a block and you want it to lay flat. And then I think one of the next to the last things is the 6.5-inch ruler. Again, I love Quilter Select because it has a nice non-stick surface, so everything stays in place when you're ready to cut. And then the last big item that if you don't already, actually there's 2 items.
And these are totally optional, but we just really enjoy using them.
And we call them tools. So this is the Martelli spinning mat. It has really nice ball bearings, a top that's replaceable if you do cut enough fabric to ever need to replace it. Spins beautifully.
Self-healing mat.
And then a Caterpillar glow light. This is also helpful and useful to know if you've got your fabric covered. Because this,
I'm excited to show you how this works.
Yes, and just knowing that if you have a light box and you have just a little bit of fabric and not quite the amount that they recommend, you can get by with less fabric because there is more fabric that you'll have to cut off.
Yes.
But anyway, if you have, for some reason, a scrap that's not quite as big as what the papers recommend, you can use a smaller piece as long as it covers your paper. So that's good to know.
So Mom's going to walk us through the steps of how to make this. We also were in 4-H growing up, so this is a little bit of a project demonstration, and Mom has several different pieces to show you how to make this block along the way. So she's going to show us.
So one of the first things you do is you'll get out your papers. You'll pre-fold your fabric paper that you're going to sew your fabric on. And if you use this Prairie Pointer, you're just going to fold your paper up and crease it. And you can come over here and take again your pointer, and it's just nice and stiff, and you'll just get it right there on the line, fold it over, press it down, and then you'll do that to all 4 pieces right there, and so it'll look something like this when you're done. So after you've done that, you're also going to take your fabric pieces, and if you pre-cut 2 5-inch squares and just cut it down the middle, you'll end up with 4 pieces of triangles.
And to do that, you're going to take a square. You would take a square, and most rulers have a 45-degree line. And so you're gonna line up the 45-degree line on the edge of one of the pieces, and then you're gonna take a rotary cutter and just slice right down the middle. And so you'll do that on 2 different 5-inch squares to make 4 of these half square triangle folds.
And then you'll set those aside, and then you'll take and make a 5 1/4-inch square is what the directions recommend. And you'll take this piece of paper that's been pre-folded, and you'll turn it over upside down. Do you want to do it on the light box, Santa Rose?
I would like to show them on the light box.
Okay, let's just set it over here.
So a Caterpillar Glow light box is a light box. This is what it is when it's off. This is the premium size, which is their middle, and it has 3 light settings. So you can have it for whichever one you want. So you can clearly see here when you have the paper, but when you do foundation paper piecing, you actually sew on the side that's printed, but we're actually putting the fabric on the back side of that paper.
Okay, and I'm going to use this one because it's been pre-folded. So this is my 6 1/2-inch foundation paper piece paper. I've turned it upside down. I'm going to put glue in just a couple of spots. I'll take my fabric right side up, and you're just going to place it over the spot where the square is, and you can flip it over. And because it's in the light box, you can easily tell. Actually, it'll be easier with the light box to do it this way.
So much
yeah,
easier?
you can actually get it in the and better placement. So then you do that, and then you're going to take some of your pre-cut triangle pieces. Let's go ahead and add butterflies to go with the frog. And you're going to place on square number 2 this, and you're going to take your triangle and put it right on top of these glue pieces. And you just put this right here, and you basically try and get it centered. You can eyeball it because you have so much extra fabric here because they are generous with their fabric, so that it makes this easy. And then you're going to take your triangle again, and you're just going to place it up next to the square piece. And then you're going to go to your sewing machine. You'll flip this over, and you're going to sew here on this line and sew just a little outside this square here all the way over. And here's one that's already been sewn. See these marks? And here's where you ask yourself, well, why did you need to fold your paper? But this is where it's really helpful to have your papers already folded. We'll move this because you're going to take your block that's been sewn and lay it down, fold this paper back. Can I have that outer quarter? And the rotary cutter. And you're going to take the outer quarter, and it has a lip on here, and you're going to just put it on to between your paper and the fabric, and you're just going to go in here and slice that just nice and easy. We'll come over to the other side, and we're going to fold this piece back and put it on here, and then we're going to go ahead and cut right here. Here we go. And so that's all trimmed. And you can move this back as well, because we're going to go ahead and take this now and put our other, you will iron this out, these pieces here, and then you'll put your fabric, your 3rd and 4th triangles on here. And again, you'll attach a little bit of glue, put these down, flip this over, sew in your sewing machine.
And when you sew on your sewing machine, Mom, what are some...
Oh, that's very good point. So when you're sewing these stitches, you're going to change your stitch length to 1.5. So most standards...
Or 1.6. So we have a brother.
Oh.
I think it, or at least on that machine, I went down to a 1.6.
Oh, on my BQ 3100 brother, I did 1.5. But yes, just you're going to want to shrink your stitches so they really are very tiny. And it just makes it easier when you're pulling your papers off.
Yes, and the needle you're going to use.
What size needle do you like?
So you can use, we like Microtex needles a lot, so those come in an 80-12, or you can get a 70-10. It doesn't have an 11 version, and so the 70-10 would be even better, but a size 10 needle, you want to make sure that if your sewing machine has an automatic needle threader, that you hand thread the needles that are smaller than 10, because that can bend the automatic needle threader. So if you do an 80-12, that's actually what I had in my machine, and it worked just well to perforate the paper. So I like 80-12 Microtex from Schmetz Needles is what we like.
Excellent, excellent. So one of the final stages after you've sewn those last triangles on and pressed it, you're going to...
Yeah, this is all pressed.
So this is all pressed. You can put this clapper on there right after you press it where it's hot.
With a dry iron.
With a dry iron. And you're just going to set it on there and let it dry and cool.
Come to room temperature.
Room temperature. Remove this. You can tell the block looks a little bit wonky, which is just fine because you're going to later square this up, and we might as well do that right now. So now you're going to take your 6.5-inch square ruler, and you're going to line it up on the square here. The white part is the bonus fabric that you have, and we're just going to cut. We'll make 4 cuts, and because this Martelli mat spins, we can just zip around here.
And it's a self-healing mat, so it does last a really long time.
Yeah, so look at all this. You can just, whoosh, all this stuff just disappears. And look, you have an amazing, it looks like I have one little piece to cut here. Amazing square, all finished. And these can get paired with all your other fun blocks.
So just in summary, these are 6.5-inch unfinished blocks. They'll finish at 6. We're using the 6-inch square and a square foundation papers. And so that it has its finished size up here. You get 42 papers in each one of these packs, and it does have the instructions of those sizes that Mom was referring to right here on the front of the pattern, so that you don't have to keep those memorized or anything. But it is just a really easy project. If you are going to do the beneath quilt, the size that we have done in our fabric kit, you'll want 3 packs of these. You'll use about 2.5 of the 3 packs, and those are some of the supplies you need.
And we'll have all these different supplies linked to the book and our fabric kit online. So if you just type in beneath, you'll be able to find everything you need. And if you have any questions, you can always call us here at Beehive Quilt Shop.
Yes, and so it's just wonderful. I'm going to give you a quick tour of some of these other prints. You saw some of our finished blocks, but we have some of these great fish and fox fabric. We have butterflies, strawberries, there's bears. Here's the cactus print that we had earlier. We have kites. We have more strawberries. This goldfish is one of our favorite pieces from Ruby Star Society. Monarch butterflies, some purple geometry, more strawberries. We love the strawberries that are in the book. We have some sloths, these happy trees, our beach shiplap. We have more birds. There's just a lot of fun prints that are in throughout this whole fabric kit. So again, you can take this as whatever your inspiration is, but we hope this story beneath has touched you as much as it has touched us. And just remember the importance of a cute quilt label, and just know that whatever's beneath you, we hope you're beneath a quilt. So thanks for watching our tutorial from Beehive Quilt Shop.